Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. So today is going to be still another kind of like longer sketchbooking session, as it is Monday, but I've been enjoying making kind of like these more real-time talking longer sessions, and it seems that you guys have been also letting me know that you also like the longer sessions so that you can work alongside with me, and I always appreciate that. So if you are taking a break or you're planning to draw alongside me today for our sketchbook session, feel free to let me know what you're working on, because I love when people share whether or not they're drawing along and what they're drawing, so feel free to share that in the comments. But today, kind of like following along from, where are we in here? Following along from kind of like last week and the week previous to that, I am probably still going to be using the acrylic marker, acrylic gel pen kind of combination today because I still want something very vibrant and poppy. So that's what we're going to be doing. And I think last week I did talk about wanting to do something more towards like the teal color and a little bit of maybe like that gold and red, and Danhong is kind of like the perfect combination of those, and I always enjoyed drawing him, so that is what we are going to be doing today. I don't have a plan per se other than I've already pre-sketched everything as usual. I was not sure I was gonna make this for today's session, but whenever I think about using like acrylic markers or acrylic paint gel pens, because it does take me, I think the last two sessions that I've done, they've taken me like anywhere between 3 to 4 hours. So it feels right to at least film that and chat with you guys so that I can work on the piece and it doesn't feel like I'm time sinking too much time into making a spread, if that makes sense. So we're just trying to knock two birds. Knock two birds? Hit? No? Knock two birds with one stone? Is that the saying? Hit two birds with one stone? I don't know. So we're using the binder clips. I think I've talked about these binder clips before. They're like the horizontal ones, so these are my favorite, as they close horizontally instead of like backwards, so they stick out too much. I find that these lay just more flat, so it's just very nice to have, especially like working in a sketchbook or a notebook or something. We're gonna have to move this one around just because Danhong does take up quite a bit of space. I'll put the reference photo that I found for this particular one because I think it's a Sanrio character. I always forget the Sanrio character's name of the plush of the reference I'm talking about, and I believe it's like the VTuber character human version that's holding it. And I've seen it floating around so many times every time I've like opened up Pinterest for whatever reason. So sketch wise, I don't have the pencil in here as usual. I still use the blue lead from the Uni Nano Dia Color pencil lead in the color blue, which I ended up using for the sketch once again, even though I should stop using it for these sketches because it doesn't mix strangely with the skin tone typically, because it's a lot cooler than a lot of like the skin tone that I like to use is a little bit more like yellowy-ish base. So I feel like it mixes into either a muddier color or green, or the blue shows up really easily. But it's just my favorite to use whenever I'm sketching because I was not entirely sure I was gonna work on this with acrylic markers. But looking at it, I really like the spread, so I think we are gonna use acrylic markers. Also, while I'm kind of like erasing some of the areas, let me talk about what exactly I had planned for today's session in terms of like what I drew. So besides picking my favorite Danhong of the three, which is the Danhong Permancer Terre form, I do like the other two, but I've drawn this one so many times that it comes more naturally to me to draw. So I'm just gonna lighten up my sketch. You can see it's picking up a lot of that blue lead. But I've always adored that really gigantic like Danhong plushie. You've probably seen it from, I think, like, I don't know if it's like a Hoyoverse convention or display or festival type thing. I don't remember if it was like a convention per se, but it's like the normal Danhong. I think there is an Imbibitor Lunae version, but I don't think I've seen a Permancer Terre version of this giant like Danhong plush thing. But I always find it so adorably cute. Like I find the proportions cute, the face is very cute. I don't know, the way it's just simplified, I think it's just like very adorable looking. I want to make this like pop forward, so I might outline these in white at some point, because that's like something I don't think I did for any of the previous sketch pages here. Yeah, to like separate different areas. So I could use like the yellow as well in the background to separate the Selwyn and the Selwyn from the one in the back. This is what we did last week, by the way. Color. So I mentioned earlier that I wanted to do something that had like teal, gold, and kind of like red accents. Now, some of you guys, or yeah, I think maybe it was one person, I don't really remember, mentioned for me to draw Blade with Danheng or to draw, oof, I forget what's his name. Blade, what's his other form called? Mortinax or something? Let's see, Blade. Yes, Mortinax Blade. But I don't feel confident drawing him for something like this at the moment. So we're gonna see. I exit out of my Danheng reference. How could I? I just need a reference for like his clothing so I know which way or which places I can add certain colors. Here we go. But yeah, I didn't feel super confident to draw him for the spread. I did have like an idea I could have done for that potential piece, but maybe I'll tackle it in the future. For now, we're just gonna draw my favorite Danheng right now. So, like I mentioned, we're using acrylic markers and acrylic gel pens today. I think it's gonna be pretty much the same selection as the one that I used for the last few weeks. That, or we'll kind of mix up some of the colors, like maybe some of my Simtap markers or some of the other, what's it called? Other acrylic markers that I've accumulated over the past few years. This is at least gonna help me figure out some of the colors, because my problem is that I don't know if red's gonna show up super nicely. My idea was to have the background to be majority kind of like red, but I don't know if it looks too intense. For like Danheng has like very little amounts of red in his outfit that you're going to be able to see anyways. So I think it's like the little tassel part right here. He has like a little bit under his eye, and then on kind of like cinching part of his like sleeve or whatever has a little bit of red. I don't know if red's going to be too intense to be in the background. I was thinking also that I could do what is it called? Either like a light yellowy gold color, which might be a cop-out. I feel like yellow is kind of a safe color for something like this. And then do stripes or kind of like a grid patterning, but make like maybe the verticals are red and then the horizontals are teal. Or we'll go with like a teal background. I don't know what I want, because only certain areas have teal, like his eye color, the little accents as well. It's like not super predominant in terms of like how I've drawn him. So we could just go with teal and then have these little stars be red, or some accents to be red. Might be the easiest way to do this. So luckily the Ohuhu Waikiki markers does have like the teal that I really like. It's kind of like Hatsune Miku color. It's kind of like a seafoamy green, tealy, turquoisey color. I know it's not correct, but I feel like I usually interchange teal and like turquoise a lot, even though they are different colors. I don't know what this paper was for. It feels like watercolor paper, but maybe I'll just keep continuously using it as my swatch card instead of always having to use a spare scrap piece of paper and chucking it out. We'll just have like one constant one. Okay, well, let's make sure to shake this up real good. I feel like these are too close in color, but we could do the same thing. Maybe I'll use this mid-tone yellow for his name, and then we'll do an outline with a blue. I want to use like a very pungent? I want to use like a very vibrant red color. But this is kind of the color palette I'm going for. I don't really see his name being red, which is why I probably won't use it. I might do... yeah, I feel like we'll do accents with this red color somehow, and then stick with mostly these, and then a lot of probably darker colors or black or like a dark blue or something to tie everything together once again for like line art. So let's start off with the background. Because right now my marker is like really juicy, so I do have to be a little bit mindful about how much ink or paint is being dispensed. So, kind of like, I was gonna say 2 reasons. Well, we'll stick with 2 for now on reasons on why I've been enjoying doing this method more often in my sketchbook recently. And apologies that you guys are gonna be seeing this more often for now. But you guys can let me know if there's like any mediums you would like me to do more of a real-time video on. Similar format to one of these where it's just mostly me yapping, all real time for the most part, and then edit it down. So to about like an hour-ish. I feel like that's a little bit more digestible in terms of if you're just drawing along, because I feel like it's long enough, but it's not like overly long, but you feel trapped, I guess. Because I've done this with gouache in the past as well. Gouache is definitely kind of like a pain for me to use, but it's something I would like to get more used to. And it's kind of like one of the points I wanted to talk about in terms of like why do I like using kind of like the acrylic markers for spreads like this, for sessions like this, is the fact that waiting for things to dry, these dry fairly quickly. So for like a painting medium, I don't really have to dodge areas as much, and I can layer a little bit quicker. The other thing is just like I love the vibrancy, which I've talked about I think in the other videos, where the vibrant color, at least for me, it like really sells this really kind of poppy, cel shady, bold look, which I don't feel like I do as often. I always lean things to be a little bit softer, but I always like, you know, something that's a little bit more colorful or adding in colors here and there to make it at least a little bit more interesting. Oh, and the music I didn't talk about either. I like telling you guys what I'm listening to while I'm working on these sessions. Because if I'm yapping or talking, sometimes I don't put anything that has like lyrics or singing per se. Sometimes I do. I just have to do my best to cut that stuff out. But I'm listening to, I think it's a Ruby, let me see. Ruby and Sapphire and Emerald. But it's like city pop vibes. I was gonna put like Pokopia rain type of music, because we've been getting so much rain recently. Like heavy rain, pretty much. I'm hoping nothing floods in my city or like near my city. I know a lot of places are also getting like a lot of rain, or what is it called? I think it's just heavy rain. I think it's just like a lot of places are getting heavy rain at the moment. Which right now I'd rather take rain over snow, because I can't imagine if it actually went below 0 here and it started snowing instead. I would probably lost my mind, because it's a heck of a lot of rain, so this would have been so much snow if that were the case. But yeah, that's mostly my two reasons on why I've been enjoying this method mostly. I like the final results of it because it's very bright. It gives a nice like finish for the most part, which I feel like for 3 hours, I don't really mind. Sometimes like I work 3 hours on a gouache piece or something, and I immediately kind of like, or not immediately, I tell myself I would like it, or trick myself into being like, oh, you'll like it more once you finish it, which is not the case. It's never the case. Well, that's very pessimistic to say. Sometimes it works out. But thanks for drawing along with me, you guys. I do, or at least like I've been more or less enjoying the longer sessions recently. And I've talked about it like wanting to do more like those Pomodoro sessions in a sense, or like body doubling. I will always forget how to say that. Body doubling, because it makes me feel productive, and it provides something for you guys as well if you want some company to draw along with. I'm trying to interpret my sketch here. Pretty sure I covered up part of his ear. Also, I feel like these types of markers I've been really enjoying. The ones that have like the pumping mechanism. I know different marker companies or brands or types of markers, it's nice to have the ones that you don't have to activate. I find them a lot cleaner to use. Like you don't have to worry about typically any of the marker paint spilling out. So I feel like it's definitely much more clean, which I'm using for like my sketchbook right now. It's like notebook paper. it sucks the paint like out of the marker quite quickly. So having these ones that you can pump out more paint makes it a little bit easier for flatter application, in my opinion. Even though the other markers, like, they work super well on like those linen boards and all that, but for something like this, I've been enjoying these types. So like the Simtap markers, the Waikiki, Ohuhu version of these markers as well. It's just been the ones that I've been enjoying. I might have to add a red star somewhere else, and because of that, there's gonna be a little bit less red on my whole entire spread here. I do like this kind of like really poppy dark red. I know my camera's making it super vibrant and kind of like bumping up, what is it called? The gain almost. So it looks very solid, even though it's kind of see-through right now. I have like part of the text also like overlapping with his hair because I couldn't fit it entirely. So I might use one of the acrylic gel pens to do the outline for this. And I don't know what color I want to use. We could outline with red, or if we have like a darker blue-green. Because like other than using black or I guess like a dark brown, I lean things to be either dark blue or dark purple when it comes to the line art, especially with like acrylic markers, because the color palette that they usually have for these types of mediums typically have like a dark purple or a dark blue as like one of the only darker, deeper values in their entire set. At least with using something dark like that, we can make this look a little bit cleaner in terms of my edges. My G and my T together. Because maybe it'll be fine. I know it's crooked, but I think it's fine as long as I add like a darker color to outline it. Oops. I don't know. Getting paint everywhere. This is like something I've used like ever since high school. I feel like it gets most mediums off of your desk. And in high school, whenever I had like art class or art club, oops, I almost put that right in there. We always have to wipe down our area or our workstation, whatever you want to call it, after every class we have. So I guess I don't really mind if there's paint on the bookmark. Or not the bookmark, the elastic. Just have to be careful. I'm gonna put my swatch sheet over here. But let's do our little plushy guy. I need to look up the reference of the plush danhang as well. We're just gonna reference it for the most part. I just like the style of it. I think it's just like derpy and adorable. It's very simplified and very round. I think similar to Selwyn, we can probably use this as our main color for the skin tone, I think. Oh, I want to do like a floral piece as well another time. Maybe I'll choose like Maseki. I think I'm nearing like the halfway spread, so maybe I'll plan for that if I do hit that in time for next week. I feel like the pens might be easier for me to control. So we don't have like a super dark red. We have like two very similar mid-tone reds. And then yellows. Or maybe it's this. We'll go with this yellow and this red. We'll quickly do the background so that we have only to cover up the background rather than me trying to pull the colors and putting it afterwards, because once we add the outlines, it'll push everything back at least. I'm kind of scared to do this. I feel like with the warping, I hope this isn't that bad. It's like okay. If you guys play Pokemon, I know this like some people do and some people don't, but if you do you have a favorite gen? I love Gen 3 so much. Purely for like probably nostalgia. Makes me love it more than I should maybe. I just love hearing and listening to the music though. And a lot of like the Pokemon in Gen 3 I loved like a heck of a lot. It's just I think Gen 4 and Gen 5 I have like my actual favorites in them. But I listened to like Little Root Town too often for me to say that it would be weird if I said I wasn't a fan of Gen 3. That and I listened to... Is it Lily Cove? I don't think it is. It's 4 Trio, so like, but... There's like a song that used to be stuck in my head and I forget which city it is in Pokemon. I don't know how well spaced this is. It could be really done. It could be really poorly done. Also, I mentioned before, also on like Sunday's video, which was supposed to be Saturday's video, the fact that I was gonna potentially do another like Kaisen or Tomodachi Life focused drawing session with like, I don't know, something similar to this. I don't know if it was gonna be done with paint marker specifically, but like something similar-ish, because you guys now know that Kaisen is low-key a mess on my island. Why is my brother texting me? So let's see if I can throw these grid lines in as much as I can. Also, the Witch Hat Atelier episode. Guys, I can't wait until the arc that we're about to enter in. But also Tarta! I love him. He's so cute in this episode too. Like, he has so many smiley, happy moments that I can only wish that, you know, wish only the best for all the kids in Witch Hat, because holy heck. No. It is giving school chalkboard, cutting board kind of vibe. I'm trying to be very conscious about like lifting up the ruler rather than just like automatically sliding it to prevent the smearing. I can't believe I smeared that. I was doing so good up until then. Okay, I'm gonna let things dry in the meantime. But doesn't it give kind of like cutting board? What is it called? Those self-healing cutting mats is what I mean, not a cutting board. Cutting mat. I think we can try doing a red border. So my plan is I want to do 2 lines and then fill in the middle to get a certain kind of thickness. Because I don't really want the red to be like super subtle. I want it to be pretty like visible, you know? Contact with kind of our teal color here. I'm just gonna start coloring this in because I want to add in the extra lines here, but I need it to dry. Actually, we can do the bottom section first before we do that. That way we don't have too much dry time. But this dries pretty quickly, but just to avoid smudging and smearing even by accident, we're just gonna let that side dry while filling this border in. But hopefully this will be kind of like enough red so that the little pops of red in Donhung's overall color palette will match nicely. I'm thinking what other color palettes I want to do for another spread. It'd be fun to do like a very vibrant kind of like pink and blue. I don't know if I have any markers that gives me more of like that electric blue color, because that would be very fun to use. Maybe to celebrate that Jonghan is going to be back, maybe I'll do a spread for him as well. A good thing I'm recording this solely for the fact that I remember talking about doing a halfway spread for Masaki. I already forget what I wanted to do for that. So I'm actually gonna let the red dry. It is a little bit more vibrant than the red that I chose for this, but I think it's okay. I like the precision usually with these kind of like gel pen markers. Because I did erase my lines, to some extent, like, I do like having the lines visible, or like more visible, I guess, because they're still visible right now. But having them more visible only for the fact that it makes it easier for me to determine where I want certain parts to be in terms of like my lines. Later on, I guess like the benefit of erasing them is that I don't have to go over too many times with passes, especially for like lighter colors. And because the lines that I usually use the paint markers to do the lines as well. They're on the thicker side for sure. So even if I leave like certain little gaps and stuff for where I want to place the lines, where there's two like places of, like in this case, the skin of the face and then the skin of the neck are kind of touching. Sometimes doing this back and forth, I am smearing the pencil lead a little bit. So even though my marker is pretty juicy, you can see that the paint looks like, or I guess maybe you guys can't see it that well, it's drying up a bit. So this is what I'm talking about, that this paper kind of sucks the paint out of the marker quite a bit. He is looking a little patchy in the face. But luckily, Donna is pretty covered. So it shouldn't be too bad in terms of like adding more shadow colors and maybe highlight colors to help even out the skin tone. But we'll see how much I can mix up from this one specifically. There's so many characters I'm thinking of that I could do really cute spreads for. I don't want to get too ahead of myself right now. I just manually connect this with my wobbly line. It's okay. Like I said, the markers dry pretty fast, so we should be okay, except for I just need to dodge this one area. The text a little bit. But we can always cover it up, so way to go me. Immediately missed the area. I might zoom in. I forgot that you guys are looking at a very far away angle. I don't remember. Did I? Actually, you guys can let me know. Do you guys prefer like the far awayness of everything while I'm working on the sketchbook? Especially like if I'm working with acrylic markers and pens like this. Because I know some traditional mediums I do zoom in a lot more. But because we're doing mostly general to specific, I feel like the far away view works better in terms of like watching everything slowly come into view. Because I feel like it's easier for me to go with straight black because I have one of these markers so I can cover more ground. Okay, we're gonna make sure to mix all the paint up. But because I've drawn Danhong with the acrylic gel pens in the past, I kind of know how I wanted to do the hair in a certain sense. Yeah, we're gonna do the shadows for the face first. I think there was like a pink color that I've been mostly using for like people who are a little bit more fair skinned, I guess. Like one of these pink colors, it looks kind of like intense right here, but I feel like it works the best for what I want. It's mostly just for a nose highlight. I'll start on this one. I just want to differentiate the neck. So in terms of his hair, I think the top right hand side is where we're going to do our highlights. I really do love watching kind of like everything slowly come together for stuff like this. Because especially in the beginning, I don't know if I'll ever like actually block everything in. Because even after I finish the skin portion, to a certain degree, we're gonna work on the eyes next before we work on the hair. Okay, so for this little guy, I think it's the same lighting. So we're gonna keep it from the top right. I'm also gonna binder clip this. Getting like that feeling in my hand again. It's usually when I use the gel pens, I find. I think it's because it has like a smaller barrel. But this is why you should do the shadows first, because now my pink is making the black look very blotchy. But luckily black is very powerful so that, you know, it's very dark. We can cover up these areas quite easily. I'll do this big guy next. What other color palette have I not really done? I guess like something much darker. A navy blue and red would be really nice. Is there a character that would fit with that profile? navy blue and red. Because right now I'm thinking mostly like of very vibrant color palettes to a certain extent. Color in his little chin. This is where it becomes like helpful for, oops, his, if you have some semblance of like where the hair is or your sketch, so that you can drop the shadows without covering too much. Even though like parts I can see in my sketch, I can see that there are some parts that I want to change the shape of. Like I feel like I brought his bangs a little bit too high up. And I can kind of see where the jaw is still. I love slate port music, it's so fun. So the only thing I want to add is maybe that. We can also use the same red to do the little part next to his eye. I'll probably use the same teal color for his eyes because I don't think I have one that's like slightly darker. This one actually might be closer because this is a little too green. This actually has a tinge of like that bluish green. So you probably could use that actually. Okay, we're just gonna let him dry a smidge while we add. What do we want to do next? Maybe a little bit of gray. I feel like this one's fine. Now, I can't guarantee it, but I feel like his eyes are a little bit harder for me to screw up just because it is a yellow pupil, right? I guess it's a pupil? Yeah, yellow pupil right in the center, which I feel like is a little bit easier for me to manage instead of like trying to figure out where I want to put the highlight. So you can kind of see this is the color right now, so we need to shake it. That ball shaking inside. Wait, these are so nice for lines though. I don't trust myself though. I'll probably use the gel pens. Even though like this is closer to like a paintbrush, which I feel like a little bit more comfortable to use for smaller, finer details like line work. At least for watercolors. Gouache is hit or miss for me. It is dispensing a lot of paint, which does make it a tad bit harder for me to control, but you know, it's okay. It's a little lopsided. Oh, I guess his mouth just isn't in the middle. Hopefully to censor it just a smidge. Okay, so eye color for Danheng is kind of the turquoise and then like a much lighter green color or like grayish green. It looks a little crazed. It feels like that meme of like blue-eyed characters or whatever. But another reason why he's so easy for me to draw is because his eye style is kind of like similar to how I do like what I consider my derp eyes, which is like white pupil in the center and then the upper half of the iris is dark and the lower half is lighter. Makes it very easy. That or like I just do a complete one value for the entirety of the, what is it called? Of the iris. Maybe it's a lack of eyebrows as well. He just doesn't look entirely there. But luckily for the hair, I don't really have to do too much like outlining for the bangs as long as I play it safe in terms of how I add the colors with the gel pens. That's the last time I've drawn him. I feel like I've doodled him more recently than I remember. He looks a little bit more like Ren now. Renzoto. I think I've said that in a previous video too. They have like a little bit of similarities here and there. And then now I have the eyes kind of like of a lighter color. I don't really remember what color Ren's eye color is. It might be green. You can see how much like the black stands out. I'm debating on how I want to do his hair because now that I think about it, I forgot that I prefer one, if everything can be somewhat consistent, that would be great. But because of that, I might have to go more of like the cell shading route. So maybe keeping his hair a little bit more on the simple side. Same with the clothing. So maybe I will block in his clothing with the black. He's looking cute though. I feel feel like there might be more silence in this video, but I guess I will cut it out so that it flows a little bit more properly. So I was thinking of maybe doing like a non-talking version, but I think some of you guys want me to do these longer sessions because I also yap alongside with it. So be careful of the shape of this horn because we can have his hair cut through it, which is kind of nice. Okay, we can also get his earring in there. It's like two separate pieces, but now it looks like one blob. I was gonna say, what if the color is just a lot lighter than, or a lot more mid-tone, similar to the initial blue that I put? But I think we're good. Much lighter this color is. Kind of works. Part of this is the highlight, but also like, I don't know if I want it to be entirely solid. I'm also thinking just like right now, it's like, do I want to do something with gouache? I don't know who I want to paint. Well, there is somebody I want to paint, but I don't know if I will be able to do him justice in gouache. He could be somebody. So instead of me just like talking super vaguely, Alvin, so he had his like, what is it called? Is it Nichi Fest? For the concerto, he had like his performance and stuff, and I really liked that outfit, but then he revealed a new outfit as well recently, which I think is so cute, but it's a little bit more emo, maybe grunge. I don't know how to describe the aesthetic. It looks very cute, but it's very like more black and orange centered in terms of like, do I have a photo of him? Maybe I don't. But I think it could be fun to do something like a bigger pop-out piece kind of in my sketchbook rather than like these doodles or whatever you want to call it going all the way across. In terms of the eyes, well, I guess I could use the same yellow. Or maybe we'll use the lighter yellow. We'll do the little highlight in the center. They're somewhat darker or different in value. Oh, it's this one. Well, it's not even that far off either. This one's darker. So we could use that for the eyes. That or black. Maybe we'll use black. We'll use black and this one together to do the eye lines. We'll just let the yellow fully dry. I've never had this issue so far. Usually they've been pretty good. Is it rolling? I swear I see some paint coming out. Here we go. Taking forever. I'll just keep doing this until more paint comes out consistently. So right now it's in the very like scratchy state. I think we're getting there though. It doesn't show up that well. Wasn't worth it. So some of these like pens and markers, I feel like they dry more towards like the matte side. This black always dries a little bit more like glossy, only in like certain areas because you can see that's like higher amount of gloss for some reason. And I'm trying to make sure the black has like a pretty clean edge. For black, if I have any characters similar to like Danheng in general, but block it in like this and then we can pull out our highlights, but most likely it's because I'm blocking in with this color that we're using a heck of a lot. I do lose the shape of his hair in terms of like some of these sections, so this made me a little bit nervous. Some of the other colors I will be definitely more disappointed I'm running out, if that were the case. I think it was when I was doing more like crying expressions, I randomly drew him for some reason. Because also at some point, like if I'm using something like gouache, or even like colored pencil, sometimes I stop like part way, leave it unfinished. But I do feel a little bit more motivated with at least these acrylic markers to finish. I don't know if it's because it's a little bit more manageable, like it's less labor intensive for the color payoff. But then also like at a certain point I can kind of see like the light at the end of the tunnel Actually, we do have a dark gray that would work for a good portion of the like his outfit, and then the rest will be the dark, or like the black, I guess in this case. But even at this point, like, it's as thick as like the gel pen, so is it really worth it? I don't know. I can get it a little bit thinner, but I don't know if I like it. Also, it's like smudging my fingers. Do the bottom lashes, so I'm nervous to do them. The paint here is very liquidy. I can get some of the excess off on the paper. But for the rest of like the line art and stuff, I'll definitely do it in the gel pens, because at least with the consistent thickness, I can't really be angry at my line quality entirely. Because I definitely want to put like an outline around him. Maybe it'll be in red. Because I want him to pop forward compared to this one. I guess these two are together, so I don't really mind. The importance of eyebrows. It's kind of necessary. Not so much on this one because his cranium is huge. I have to let myself sit on it. I think it doesn't help because I drew it like this. And it's already massive, but then looking at it normally, it's humongous. It's okay. Maybe we should put like something that covers a part of it. More of these, maybe. I think that's what I'm gonna call it for right now. And I'll come back tomorrow afternoon, probably, to finish up the rest of him. Because I'm gonna give my brain a break. Because I'm just gonna see if there's a way for me to cover this. I don't think there is. Well, actually, one last thing I want to do before we end this session. I'll come back in a bit. It'll be like super speedy for you guys. We're gonna add our stripes back in here. Just let that dry because I think the horizontal will cut into there too. I can't believe I'll dislike this one. This one's like okay. I don't know. Maybe. I feel like I do want like a darker color underneath though. Surrounding it. I feel like that makes more sense. Looks a little silly. It's okay. Okay, we'll add our yellow. And I'll come back in a bit, which will be super quick for you guys. So I'm gonna re-wet this so I can wipe off the paint off my hand. Works pretty well. I'll have to wash my hands anyway, so I don't know why I'm doing this. Get majority of the gunk off. I'm gonna finish one last commission for I think the rest of tonight so I can wind down. And we'll return back to this tomorrow. Okay, I'll see you guys in literally like 2 seconds probably for you guys. There's dark brown as well, which I don't know if I'll need. Take the black just in case. We have a dark gray and then there's a dark brown. How much would I have to shave off? Quite a bit actually, even on the back part. Maybe if I use white, we can cover this a little bit. So we can get the ball going. There we go. Mix up our paint. I'm gonna try cutting back some of his like scalp-ish area, and then if we need to bring it back, we can. We're just gonna cover it up. It's gonna take like at least 2 or 3 layers because I can see that the black paint is reactivating just like ever so slightly. Even that much like helps quite a bit, which means that we have to cut back on this side as well. I think that's a better shape already for his scalp. We'll just have to round this out like a tad bit. Like I said, because black is a little bit more powerful, I don't mind if this kind of cuts into it more, because that way we have a little bit more room to actually shape out his hair. Just to give it a little bit of shape. But because he's like more or less just a round little guy, he doesn't really have any really, what is it called? Hair strands. And you guys are gonna see it a little bit more brighter than me because I'm witnessing a lot of like glare from the wet paint. I think it looks cute. And then for this one, how do we want to do this? So we're just gonna break it up into sections for the most part. I don't know if I want to make his bangs like lighter towards his face because that's what I usually like doing, but it requires me to add kind of like keep swapping between the gel pens. Because I don't do a lot of blending when I work with like acrylic markers or acrylic paint in general. He's working kind of like backwards where you're pulling out your highlights. But because I rely on lines a lot more, I think sometimes this is a bit harder for me to imagine. But we can also just like block things out, and if we need to, we can go back in and add our black. On the side where I want it to be the brightest, it definitely is easier for me to usually put shadows instead of doing the opposite way like this. Darken that up a little bit. I might add dark blue, or we'll just leave this because, like I said, I wanted things to look a little bit more simple so that everything looks kind of like similar. Whether or not that's a good idea, I don't know. As long as I kind of block out a good amount of this green to a certain extent. Like even though it might read incorrectly, we're gonna put more highlights anyway, so I need to put it mostly where this green is because this is where it's getting hit by the light the most. I don't think it looks too bad actually. This paint's a little bit more liquidy, and because of that, it is a little bit more translucent, if anything. Definitely a better head shape, that's for sure. I might make the hair like flick out so that this part doesn't look so funky, but because of this, we might have to extend the yellow. Honestly, don't know how exactly I wanted to shade these ones, because they don't have like these into different like little sections. Even though like I could section them off a little bit, but then for his hair down here, it might be because I didn't mix like the paint super thoroughly though. I would love to use more like, I guess they're not exactly neon colors, but I think I talked about it yesterday or earlier in the video, I guess, for you guys. Doing something with very much like very bright pinks and blues. Because I don't know if it's because I'm listening to more like city pop. A lot of them have like that nice pink, or kind of like fluorescent pink, and then purple to like navy blue, dark kind of like night sky, city aesthetic. Okay, so I'm gonna keep this marker here. We're gonna plan our highlights. So highlights, I would like to continue probably with the teal. We'll probably bring yellow into it as well. Was it this marker or pen that was struggling? I think it was. Do I actually have a darker one than this? Well, maybe we want it really bright. This one's a little bit more scratchy. Also have to let that area dry. I kind of just want like a band of highlights for the most part going across. Not like completely all the way. Just because we want stronger lighting on this one side. Let's let that dry. I'm also gonna add some black back in to reform his bangs. So I think like shape-wise, this looks fine. Let's add a passive yellow right after, but I'm gonna try my best to fill this in a little bit more solid. some of the gel I already placed, or like the acrylic gel pen that I've already placed. It's like creating like a little crater. Okay, but we'll let that dry for now, and we'll work on the largest one. I haven't really tested out whether or not these dry out super quickly, or have like issues reactivating. Even though like I've seen many different tips and tricks of how you can reactivate your acrylic, or how to reactivate your gel pens. So some of these I can like identify more of like the hair strands. Other times I'm just gonna add shapes in. We've been getting a lot of rain recently. I think I said that last time. But today I think it's just mostly windy and cloudy. I think it probably rained earlier today. Okay, we're also gonna add in some of our black again. Okay, hopefully that doesn't make the hair shape too funky, because I still have to put in his ahoge. I don't know if I want to add like a darker shadow to his sclera. His eyes just like read too light for me, and I don't know if it's because the amount of black that's already on the page is adding so much contrast. Oh, this hairpiece doesn't make sense, which means that we can technically just cover it with black. So while we just let some areas dry, I'm gonna go back in. I'm gonna find like a lighter gray though. I keep calling them markers. This pen. Skipping a bit. I'm wondering if I just use this dark kind of like green color, the one that I've been using to kind of like pull out some of the lighter areas in his hair. Because I don't think I want to introduce blue when it's not really present in this entire piece. We could do black as well, but I don't know if I want more black in the piece right now. I'm trying to figure out where's the, I guess it would be here. Would this be called like a pauldron? The thing that's like sitting on his shoulder. Okay, I also need gold to fill in like the little piece that, like his hair tie clip thing. So this part is supposed to be like his little claw golden hand portion. I think I mentioned last time too is that I drew this portion of his little gold detailing a little bit lower than I would have liked. So I tried boosting it up like a smidge, but I don't even think it's gonna help that much. And I'm debating if I want to add like majority of like the line art, excuse me, by, what is it called? Using black, or do I want to do just the dark green? But he has so much black in his outfit, I feel like black would make this like the most sense. I'm trying to think if there's anywhere else that requires the little bits of red here and there. I think it's just here. I don't know, like, for the most part, this teal, or not, I keep saying it's teal, it sounds like more like a seafoam green. It's a little bit light compared to the color that Danheng has for his outfit, but I kind of like just the lighter color. I'll figure what else is there. Some parts of his face, like, I just really need to add in the line art soon. Or like the line work. I'm also just thinking about food right now. I'm like, what am I making for lunch? He looks so deadpan. Okay, so other things we need to add is the little black part. Yeah, white outline might help. I don't know if I'll add it for him because technically these guys are supposed to be together. Don't know if this looks right. I think this is like the problem I have sometimes drawing a character that I really like, is that if I botch it up even to like a minor degree, I don't like it. to shade this in because I really want to be finished with this one right now. I think it's because like I can't see what his face like 100% looks like until I add in the line work. I'm just gonna fill up as much of the black as I can right now though. I'm like thinking about the ingredients in my fridge. I'm like, maybe I have to make soup. But I have so much leftover rice, I should eat that. For this little derpy one, I think it's like... I think the timing with this, by the time we get the halfway spread... Actually, I think it's like only a few pages away. Which feels kind of crazy because I feel like I've been taking forever on the sketchbook. Once again. This is kind of the same thing that I think I said before, is that I know why the color palettes are the way they are for like these types of materials. It's because they're like, I guess most people would use it more for like this bold look, and I guess like in some cases it might look more like graffiti in a sense. I'm trying to think what other mediums I want to use like as of recently. I kind of want to use alcohol markers again, and in this case if I use alcohol markers I could always cover the back side of the bleed through with another acrylic marker spread like this. Oh, this is supposed to be black. I forgot it's supposed to be his armor. I was like, the thing I'm coloring in right now is supposed to be this. I should have found like where I wanted the edge to actually be and then continued the grid there, because now it looks really awkward. But I kind of like him being more like cut out of the border, even more so. Did this one too, but I want to add the lighter kind of green color here. So I'm kind of following the shape of the darker color underneath, but we're not filling it all the same. Because like I said, I wanted some of the areas to pop out. Didn't really leave these areas to dry as much. It's not too bad. Obviously not my favorite. Just to make that hair make sense. So luckily, yeah, his hair isn't as like bulky. Add another pass of white. We could, I think we have to use the dark brown. Well, I do have like a dark red brown. So one thing I always get nervous about doing line work, besides like my hands are a little shaky, I don't like my line quality typically, but if you can't see your lines, or not see your line, see where you're gonna end or stop your line once you start, that usually makes me very nervous. But even if I screw up, we could technically use any of the other markers or pens to kind of push things back or cover things up again. Add even more highlights to, not even more highlights, I haven't really added any highlights to the darker areas. But we can definitely use kind of this color. This is what I get for like potentially not entirely loving my sketch initially. I'm thinking that I can fix it by adding color. Okay, I'm gonna let everything more or less dry because there's two things that I want to do. Well, three things. So I want to fix up his eyes. I want to make them a little bit darker. I don't know if it's like the outline that I need to darken or maybe just like the upper half of his eyes that I need to darken so that it looks a little bit less strange to me. And then the last two things that I need to do is outline this probably in the dark green. And then I will add a, I'm thinking maybe I'll add a light yellow, or do I want to add white? Either to make all of them pop from the background, or just maybe it's this guy to pop from this Donhung. We'll see. That or I'll separate these ones too, because we could also do the kind of like teal color, but I feel like the yellow that I did the grids with might work the best, if not white, to make the text pop. Besides like, you know, using a darker color and just like outlining it, because this could be fun too if I just leave it. But I feel like I'm drawn to wanting to add a drop shadow. I'm gonna do the exact same one that I've been doing, because I feel like that's the one that's like locked and loaded in my brain. Even though lighting wise, I should have made it the opposite, but you can see how it pops from like just doing an outline. Same thing. Outline. And luckily, my outline doesn't have to be like super neat. Technically, only because I have the drop shadow helping me out. So I ever have to, you know, force myself to stop right before I hit the letter, or if you had done the text prior, probably wouldn't run into that problem really. There we go. And then I want to add it for the stars as well. Last one. And then we'll add our outline around, I think anything that isn't part of the background, and that'll help separate them from each other. I'm just still thinking if I want to add white or if I want to do the light yellow. Now, kind of similar to like my digital sketch pages, this might not be the neatest application, because whenever I do like the white outline on my sketch pages, I do it on a layer on top of everything rather than doing it underneath and letting like the white not cover up my line art. It's mostly because like I always have like stray lines or things that I could potentially low-key cover up and or clean up by adding our outline like this. So I don't mind if my yellow cuts into like my line work. I just don't want the line work to be outside of the yellow, because the yellow is like supposed to try to contain more or less everything, like minus obviously if I had sketchy lines kind of like poking out. There's so much I want to draw right now, not like traditionally, but some other things. But there's like many things that I kind of need to finish up. I need to actually print out Patreon rewards. I need to finish my last commission. I also need to look up prices for things again, because I want to open up my store, but I don't know if I want to offer notebooks again. I don't make foam charms. I'm really want to make some tiny foam charms again. I'm trying to make sure I don't get these confused. And luckily, I feel like I just put my hand in paint. I can kind of feel it. But luckily this gel pen right now is like working super well. So these two are together, so we're just gonna not separate them. I'm gonna see what doodling method I would like to work with, or sketchbook spread filling method I would like to work on. Because then I can talk a bit more about why Kaisen is a complete mess on my island. You guys already saw like a glimpse of it, and I've talked about it very briefly in that one video. And we'll do the stars as well, just try to keep the thickness intact. Obviously there's gonna be some details that are like just missing in general, but I think I can't be bothered right now. I think overall it looks like fairly finished, so I don't really mind. I think that does help, but I don't know if I want to darken up this section a little bit more. I do the same for this one. I think that helps like even his eyes out. I think it's because his eyes are just like uneven in general that it's bothering me. But there's not much I can do to like even it out at this point. Okay, let me clean up, we'll come back, and I think that's it for this little spread. I just like how bright everything is. I'm so happy right now. I just like wanted to put some other music on while I was cleaning up. But Envying is finally on Killing Voice. I've been waiting for so long. Luckily, they're on Killing Voice because I needed to hear them on there. Okay, but here's kind of our finished spread for today. Didn't think it was gonna be as like difficult to like this one, but I'm glad at some point like I came to the conclusion that I think I'm okay with it. So if you guys haven't seen the previous ones, this is the other one that we did, Selwyn, and then the one that kind of kick-started everything is the obviously Go For It Kaisen. So, you know, just a bunch of different acrylic marker little spreads in my sketchbook. There is definitely at least one more that I would like to do. So in my sketchbook, I always like to mark the halfway point. I know it's like very close by. Where is it? Here it is. So we're like 4 spreads away from the halfway point. I would like to do another acrylic one probably here because I think it's my favorite way right now to make like a full colored spread that's very vibrant and punchy. At like other times I've used like alcohol markers, I've used gouache in place, and I've always struggled liking the results. Right now I think I'm at a point where I have a process that I like working with for the acrylic markers and acrylic gel pens that is working out for me for the most part. Like besides just not liking my drawings in general, and then praying and hoping for the best isn't, you know, the best way to do things, but you know, it's okay. But I think this is, it's very cute for the most part. And hopefully you guys were drawing along or resting. So thanks for keeping me company for today. And I will talk to you guys next time in the next video. We'll just move this to our next spread in our sketchbook. And I think that's it for today. So I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Bye!